This is the One Girl Revolution podcast, a podcast that highlights the stories of world-changing women and girls across the country. We hope that these stories inspire you, but even more so, we hope that these stories help you to see your own value, your purpose, and your power to change the world through your life. Every woman and girl is a One Girl Revolution. Welcome back to the One Girl Revolution podcast and part 2 of our very special event, The Power of Her, a celebration of women making history. If you tuned in last week, you heard part 1 of this powerful, historic live podcast recording where we gathered over 20 powerhouse One Girl Revolutions throughout Metro Detroit to share their stories, inspire us, and remind us of the incredible impact that women and girls are making every single day. And today we're diving into part 2 of this unforgettable night. The Power of Her was more than just an event, and One Girl Revolution is more than just a podcast. One Girl Revolution and the Power of Her is a movement. It's about amplifying the voices of women and girls who are changing the world every single day through their courage, their compassion, and their resilience. These women are leaders, founders, advocates, change makers who are making history every single day. And we are so honored to celebrate them and to share their stories with you. This event wouldn't have been possible without our incredible sponsors and supporters who believed in this dream and helped bring it to life. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Born and Raised Detroit, The Dre Project and Jennifer Jackson, Mansfield Insurance Group, Simplified Printing, Scene Magazine, After the Tone, and our generous raffle basket sponsors. I also want to thank the congregation for saying yes to hosting this event and for being so supportive of One Girl Revolution through the years. I also want to thank the congregation for choosing One Girl Revolution as their nonprofit of the month of March. So throughout the month of March, throughout Women's History Month, every time that you go to the congregation, when you go to pay your bill for your coffee or your cocktail or food or whatever you're buying there, you will be able to top up and donate directly to One Girl Revolution. So please do that. Please visit the congregation, celebrate their 5-year anniversary, and support One Girl Revolution. Also, if you don't live in Detroit, you're able to donate any single day. You can go to our website at onegirlrevolution.com/donate. Every single dollar that you donate goes back to support our work and helps us to tell even more stories of world-changing women and girls. I also want to thank all of the One Girl Revolutions who showed up that night, who courageously shared their voices and made time to come out and inspire us all. I want to thank DJ Mint for bringing the music and the energy, and to our amazing marketplace vendors who showcased their incredible missions and their work. I also want to thank the behind-the-scenes rock stars, Leah, Abby, Moira, Delia, my husband Joe, Andrew and his incredible team, Val, producer Rachel, and every friend and supporter who helped bring this night to life. We are endlessly grateful for each and every one of you, and I just sit here in awe and so grateful of this incredible community of support. In part 2 of The Power of Her, you'll hear even more inspiring stories from women and girls who are changing the world and transforming their communities every single day. You'll hear their passion, their purpose, and their unwavering belief in the power of women to create change. This episode is a celebration, a reminder, and a call to action. A celebration of women making history every single day, a reminder that each of us has the power to make a difference every single day, and a call to action to support, uplift, and amplify women and girls in our lives and in our communities. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of The Power of Her. Be sure to share this episode with the women who inspire you and join the movement at onegirlrevolution.com. Let's continue celebrating, supporting, and making history together. Now let's dive into part 2 of The Power of Her. I am so grateful to have this incredible panel. Sherelle Hogan, Jojo Dries, Katie Hardy. You're 3 of my favorite. All of the One Girls are my favorites in different ways, but I feel like the 3 of you, I've learned so much from each of you, from my conversations with you, but also through your friendship. And I think what's so beautiful is like when you just have an encounter or a conversation with someone, I think it's even cooler when it becomes like a friendship. Like we're Facebook friends. Like I love your baby SJ. Like I want to see all the baby pictures. And JoJo, same with your family and all you have going on. And then Katie, like I still remember when we during COVID did like a Instagram live and you were collecting pop bottles, and like I loved following all of the like crazy shenanigans that you guys were doing. But I'm so honored to have the three of you up here, and I can't wait for you to share a little bit about your story. So if you could just share your name and talk about your organization.
Alrighty. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Sherelle Hogan. I am the CEO and founder of an organization called the Pure Heart Foundation, and we support children whose parents are incarcerated. I'm not sure if you know, but 228,000 children in Michigan alone has had one or both parents incarcerated before reaching the age of 10. This is a very forgotten population. It is a lot of programs out here to make sure that a person who is released from incarceration has access to equal resources, right? But no one really thinks about how that child's life changes immediately after their parent is incarcerated. So I started the organization 10 years ago to interrupt that cycle of generational incarceration, but also break that cycle of, poverty, children feeling alone to navigate through their society. So some of the things that we do is we provide a holistic wraparound service model that consists of 6 different programs. Really quick, they are academic enrichment, mental health, wellness, family reunification, mentorship, a cycle breaker initiative, and a recreational and arts program. And we support scholars ages 4 to 24 years old. Some of our success is 0% of the scholars that we have serviced for the last 10 years has entered the criminal justice system, right? 100% of the scholars, right? The cycle can be broken. 100% of the scholars have matriculated successfully through their academic journey, and 100% of the high schoolers have graduated successfully. And they are truly, truly, truly doing the work. I've dedicated my life to making sure that no child with an incarcerated parent feels forgotten. I lead from experience. When I was 6, my mother went to prison. When I was 7, my father went to prison. And right after I watched both of them be handcuffed, my life changed. Mm-hmm. And only by the grace of God and having people believe in me, I was able to break the cycle. And I just want to make sure that no child with an incarcerated parent feels like they have to be another statistic, but they can break that cycle and thrive as well too.
I'm sitting here just in awe of all of you ladies and the ladies that we've heard from already, and there's a few more that we're still going to hear from, but just reflecting on what I know about each of your stories. And each of you have been through so many difficult things, so much trauma, so much abuse. And I think it was actually like through my curiosity or my own experiences with the work that the three of you are doing was kind of how I stumbled upon your organizations and stumbled upon, like Sherelle, I'm thinking about you. I think we got connected after I did our documentary, The Girl Inside. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time that I had set foot behind the walls of Cook County Jail, and started realizing and researching that women and girls are the fastest growing population in jail and prison. Yes. Why do we not hear about that? And so I just became curious, and I was like, I need to Google that. I need to learn more. And I think what you're doing, and I want to talk about JoJo and Katie as well in the same way. It's like we have the power to, our stories matter. And even though we've been through difficult things, there's so much light that can come through those difficult things. And then we, like Sherelle, I'm thinking about your story, that you're able to be such an incredible mentor to these kids, to these kids that are coming through your program, because you're walking with them and saying like, hey, I know what it's like. You also have an incredible book.
Yes.
So I hope people will check that out and read about your story. They can listen to the podcast. What's next for the Pure Heart Foundation? What are some things you guys are working on?
Yeah, so thank you for that. First, I do have to plug my book, right? I wrote a book. It's called The Prisoner's Kid, My Journey to Freedom. It's a love story to both of my parents, basically, just expressing how I deeply felt while they were incarcerated. I always say I was not free until they became free, because oftentimes that's how children feel. They feel like that jail cell closed with them, right, as soon as their parents leave. What's coming next for Pure Heart? So we will be celebrating 10 years this year. April 1st, we're actually launching a capital campaign called The Call of Impact. During COVID, the significant loss of children being able to stay connected to their incarcerated parent was gut-wrenching. We actually had scholars whose parents passed away due to COVID while in prison. So we created this campaign called The Call of Impact, where we created this live activations for people that's not directly impacted to have a mock call as if you're the incarcerated parent, just to get a feel of what our scholars experience every single day when they connect with their parent. So that's something that's coming. We also just acquired a building. So we would be, yes, right? That is beautiful. So we will be the first center that's dedicated to supporting justice-impacted families, specifically those who have parents incarcerated. So very, very excited about that. We are expanding. So we are in the Metro Detroit area, but we recently expanded to Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we went from serving 200 scholars to 400. So yeah, the goal is to not stop. Keep replicating our motto to all children across this country, know that they are supported. So yeah.
Sherelle, question for you about Women's History Month. Is there an inspiration, or maybe it's like the last panel, like, is there a message when you think about Women's History Month and everything that you've experienced in life? What would your message or inspiration be for women and girls around the world?
Mine would be from my personal story, and that is to tell any woman or girl to never lose your voice. I think so many people, and women in particular, feel silenced because it's so easy to tell a girl or a woman, oh, just, be quiet, we got it, right? Because we live in this masculine world. I don't want any girl or woman to feel like their voice does not matter. Even if you feel like no one hears you, keep speaking, because it's so necessary for you to keep speaking. So, yeah, that's my message. Don't lose your voice. Someone needs to hear it.
Amazing. Thanks, Sherelle.
That was beautiful.
Jojo, share with the crowd a little bit about your name, a little bit about your incredible organization.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us here, Kate. We're honored to be here. My name is Jojo Dries, and everyone in this room either knows somebody or you yourself have experienced domestic violence, and that is why I do what I do. I experienced domestic violence growing up. I was sexually, verbally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, you name it, abused by my father and my older brother. And when that was happening, every time that happened, I said to myself, one day I'm going to get out. Now I have 5 siblings, and none of them thought that. But I was one of 6 siblings, and I always knew that this was wrong. And I said, I'm going to get out, and then one day I'm going to help others do the same and get out of their own situations. And so about 2.5 years ago, after a little over 10 years of being out and serving women in my own way and, helping people get apartments or cars or, whenever I would get a paycheck, a portion of that paycheck would go towards a survivor. About 2.5 years ago, a mentor of mine and my husband both said, this is your calling. You need to start a nonprofit and get the community to rally around you and actually donate to help survivors. And so when I left my situation, I didn't have anything, right? I wasn't allowed to take anything but the clothes on my back. And I even had a car I couldn't take. And so what we decided to do with our nonprofit is to be a no red tape nonprofit, providing resources, community, and support, immediate and tangible, to domestic violence survivors. Because when you get out of a situation where you've been controlled or sheltered, whether it's familial or your intimate partner has abused you, you can't hardly even think about what's next. Do I need clothes? What do my kids need? Do I have safe shelter? Do I have transportation? Where am I going to stay tonight? If I leave, where do I stay? My family's ostracized me because, my abuser has taken me away from them. And so when people call us, we make a priority list of their needs. What do you need, and how do we meet those needs? I'd like to give a shout out to a few of the women that came with me today, because all of them have in some way either donated their time, talent, or treasure. And we have one of our sponsors here today as well, who actually donated a vehicle to one of our survivors. So at the end of last year, one of our sponsors, Chief Financial Credit Union, said, hey, we have a vehicle we'd like to donate as part of our sponsorship package. And we had a woman who had been abused and her life was threatened twice. She has 2 sons. And we had gotten her an apartment. We had gotten her a lot of safety, food, clothes, all kinds of things. But she didn't have transportation, and she was taking Uber everywhere to pick up her kids. She was training to be a part of the Detroit Police Department, and she couldn't even get to her trainings because it was just too expensive and she was missing her trainings. And so we donated this vehicle to this woman, and it completely changed her life. So not only did we take her to a point, but then now the vehicle, she's back training with the Detroit Police Department. She's going to be a police officer, and she has another job, and she has her 2 kids. So we're all about providing the tangible and immediate resources. And so if you or anyone you know is experiencing something like that, we hope that you reach out to us so that we can help you.
I can also attest, and I know this is each of you as well. I've reached out to each of you about different things, and I will always remember, JoJo, I had a friend who was just looking for resources for someone who was going through domestic violence, and I text you, and you were like, hold on, let me get hotel, all the things, whatever, and it's just so amazing. That's what I'm always so blown away by, the 3 of you, but also all these organizations that are here. It's you really are One Girl Revolutions. You're hey, here's my cell phone number. If you need something, you manage your Facebook pages. People are going through whatever they're going through. You're always there. And I just am so blown away by it and so grateful. JoJo, I want to ask you about your gala, because is it gala or gala? Everybody says it different ways,
so
but I don't know. But I say gala. I don't know if it's a Michigan accent or what. But tell us about the gala.
Awesome. Well, last year was our really first official year, okay? And in April is my birthday. April 30th is my birthday. And I said, you know what? I throw a big bash, because throughout my childhood, I was never allowed to celebrate my birthday. And so I throw a big bash every year for my birthday. I said, we're going to do a gala and just invite the whole community and ask people to sponsor this event, because I figure at least 50 to 75 people would show up as if it was my birthday, right? So we threw it on my birthday weekend. And it turned out I knocked on a lot of doors, and it's epic to me how much the community cares about this topic, right? Because we all know somebody, how many of us know a best friend that keeps going back to, this ugly situation, or anyone, right? We all know somebody. And so we had 175 people in that room. So this year, and so we had wonderful speakers. We had Carolyn Clifford came out and told us her story, which I don't know if a lot of you know, but she comes from a lot of different domestic violence situations. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. She told some never before told stories. Taryn Asher came and emceed. And so this year we have some great speakers. There's this woman named Lauren Abedini. She goes by DJ Kittens. She's a friend to a lot of the A-listers in LA, and she's flying out and she's donating her time. We're paying for her plane ticket, but basically at the end of the day, she's going to talk about intersectional feminism, and so how can we as women be advocates for ourselves in this space? And she goes around the world talking about that. We also have our wonderful DJ and her team going to be DJing at the event, Nicole Mint, who's here tonight. So we're very excited about that. It's at the Royal Park Hotel. It's on April 26th. And I will be speaking. I will be telling a little bit about what we've done with everyone's money over the last year. We served over 101 survivors. We had a huge clothing drive that the community came in and just donated just bags and bags of clothes, beautiful clothing. We've done several children that we've helped. And so I think it's important that when you come, you see what exactly we've done. We'll have a silent auction. And it's just going to be a fun night, right? This is not about a stuffy, prom type event. This is more about let's support survivors while having fun. Thank you for allowing me to share
Amazing.
that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I am so excited to share about an incredible event coming up here in Metro Detroit, Women's Scene 2025 on May 9th, hosted by Scene Magazine. This event is all about celebrating women who are changing the world, and I'm so excited to be there alongside so many incredible powerhouse women. I'm also so honored to be a part of the Women's Scene community. In 2022, Scene Magazine chose myself and One Girl Revolution to highlight, and I am just eternally grateful to them for their love and support and how they've continued to uplift women's voices and their stories and uplift the work that we do at One Girl Revolution. At Women's Scene 2025, you will hear from my dear friend, Katie McIntosh, Katie Mack, a brilliant casting director and producer who is making waves in the industry. You'll also hear from the incredible Taylor May, a multi-talented powerhouse woman who inspires me daily. I love following that girl on social media and love seeing all the great work that she's doing. You'll also hear from the amazing Julie Alvin, a writer and content strategist, and the incredible Megan Ward, founder of Femology, who is creating space for women entrepreneurs to thrive. Plus, I'm so excited to celebrate my friends and the owners of Scene Magazine, Amy Gill and Carol Krumer, two incredible women who are dedicated to amplifying women's voices and their stories. Scene Magazine is honestly one of my favorite magazines. It's a go-to for empowering stories and inspiration, so make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, I highly recommend it. You can go to their website to find out more information, but get it mailed directly to your house, and also follow them on social media. They're incredible. One Girl Revolution is so honored to support this incredible event and to celebrate these world-changing women, and we cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. So mark your calendars for May 9th. Grab your tickets today. It's going to be an unforgettable day of inspiration, empowerment, and connection. Grab your tickets today at scenethemagazine.com. So Jojo, last question for you is similar to Sherelle. Is there a message of inspiration or, in thinking about Women's History Month that you want to share with women and girls around the world?
Yes, there is. You matter. At the end of the day, it's about your choice. So I hit rock bottom more than once in my life. And it was the last time that my dad hit me, grabbed my hair, threw me to the floor, dragged me across. I was 28 and a half years old. And we live in the United States of America. I could have left at 18. But that was my rock bottom. Mm-hmm. So never think that you can't survive past the trauma. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I was 28. I started my life all over again, reconnected with the love of my life, my childhood sweetheart. Please ask me on the side about that. It's a beautiful story that will blow you away. I have 2 sons and a beautiful dog and a beautiful set of friends and tribe later. So you never hit. You're always worth it, and you can always achieve more. So beautiful. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. Katie girl. Hey, tell us about, you have multiple organizations. We've talked about them. So Ish, tell us about your name and a little bit about all the work you do.
All right. Hold on to your butts. I'm Kate Hardy. I'm the executive director and founder of 6 Feet Over. We're a Detroit-based nonprofit. We serve the entire state, and one of our programs is also fully funded in Kansas. We do suicide prevention and postvention work. So the prevention is through a program called Suck It Suicide, clearly because I'm a 12-year-old on the inside. It was named that way. Anybody old wrestling fans? Yeah? Okay. But that is specialized in unconventional suicide prevention outreach. We go to places like bars and concerts and just local shows, whatever, wherever people invite us. We hang out, we trick people into talking to us because we look really cool, and then we're suddenly like, suicide stuff? Tell me all your trauma. You need resources? I got you. And we also sell merch, which is kind of like the lure that gets people to come over and talk to us because it's not terrible. We have some downstairs. Feel free to buy some. Yeah. I'm not joking. And then our other program, which is called Lemonade, we work with suicide loss survivors within a year of their loss, and we provide them emotional and resource support one-on-one with a client advocate. And then in addition to that, we can also help with after-death costs. So I say anything from death scene to internment. So that could be biohazardous remediation, which is something that a lot of people don't think of. Some of these deaths are very violent, and whereas with murder victims, their families are assisted through funds that are available through the communities and the government to help with that remediation. That is not the case for suicide. It is for the next of kin and their responsibility. And those can be over $5,000. I think the most expensive one I've seen was $13,000, in addition to whatever cost the funerals are. So trying to make sure that people don't have that financial burden. We can also help them find those resources. Resources are a big, huge thing. So yeah, we want them to find utility assistance, make sure they have safe housing, make sure that they have transportation and food and childcare and all of those things, so they can really focus on themselves and healing at that point. I'm now, as of last week, a 10-time suicide loss survivor. And obviously I've been surrounded my entire life with people who struggle on multiple levels with suicidal ideations or just mental health struggles in general. And there wasn't anything out there for my specific community, which is like chaos. They're musicians, they're artists, they're people who don't feel comfortable going into places of worship, or they're not the people who join in at the community center. So just finding them where they're at and talking to them like they're real people. Usually I'm swearing, having a cocktail in my hand, just talking to people like they're real people and giving them what they need.
It's normalizing the conversation, right, about our struggles, not just about suicide, but also just normalize. All of us have them. All of us go through these chapters where you just feel hopeless or helpless. Mm-hmm. And so you've really created this incredible community. And I love even like following on social media, but I also know that like anytime I message you stuff, I get messaged right back. And so it really has normalized that, where it's like you don't have to publicly post something. It's like, hey, you can just message us on Facebook and we'll message you back. Or I love all of your shirts and all your swag and everything. It's like so cool because it stokes a conversation with people too.
Yeah, I've given talks at conferences before to other nonprofits in the field where they make these t-shirts that you get for free and nobody fucking wears them. All right, we're gonna do a little poll here. Who here has gotten a free t-shirt from a walk or an event? Okay, all right, great. Who has worn them to clean? Okay, who has worn them to paint? Okay, yard work? Okay, who wears them because they look good? Right, so the conversation isn't there. You're not spreading the awareness. You're not creating the community awareness that you need, or to show, yes, I absolutely, you know what? You just opened the door for me to have that really hard and uncomfortable conversation. I walk around wearing our shirts and people are like, I lost so-and-so, or I tried to kill myself, or I struggle every day. That's how you open the door and really get community buy-in. And if you look dope as fuck too, like doing it, why not? Let's get wild.
Well, I think that the communities that each of you have created is incredible, and I encourage everybody to follow their organizations, reach out to them too. And I always say on the podcast that the free and easy way to support any organization or any person is just to follow them on social media and share, like, in thinking, Katie, about your work. Like, you never know which of your friends is struggling or needs the resources. And imagine if you shared something from Second Suicide, like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, it normalizes the conversation and gives people permission to be like, hey, like, either reach out to the organization or reach out, like, they might reach out to you because you shared something and like, oh, me too. Like, I've experienced that, or I'm struggling with that, or they see an event that you're doing and like, hey, let me get my friends to go to it. But yeah, it's incredible what the three of you are doing. Katie, I want to ask you about inspiration. I mean, you've gone through so much in your life, and you are such a beacon of light, all three of you. I mean, you really are. Like, you're not just because of your hair, not just because of your bright hair. I love all your bright hair, though. But what inspiration would you send to women and girls around the world, or is there a message that you just feel like is on your heart right now?
This is literally something that I've said to a lot of people. Other women and girls are not your competition; they're your comrades. even if they don't feel the same way, they are challenging you to grow and be better. So they may not be in line with that thought process, but you can take from that and grow from it and be a better you.
Amazing. Well, I'm so grateful for the three of you. Thank you so much.
I got one more thing to say. You're not going to do this for yourself, so I'm going to do it for you. I just want to say you are amazing. You are a one-girl revolution. You have started this revolution. It's because of you that we're all here, and you are changing the world, Kate. So thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you. I'm trying to be just like each of you, and I so appreciate that you, I so appreciate you saying that, and I so appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight. It means the world to me. I know it means the world to each of you ladies, everybody else who's here. But I just think that we need a revolution in our world. And I had someone recently said to me, and at some point you all will hear the real story because it was a celebrity, but she said to me, one woman can't be a revolution. And I was like, excuse me? Look at these three ladies. Listen to each of the women that you've heard tonight. Yes, one woman can be a revolution. One girl can be a revolution. And that person is a part of the problem. The world does not believe that women can change the world. So we need to believe in one another. We need to stand with one another. And so I'm so grateful to each of you and all the One Girl Revolutions across the country who are a part of this movement. It's a movement, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So thank you to the three of you for being here. So we're going to bring, I think, DJ Mint up to play a little tunes. I haven't been hugging people because I'm like,
I'm going to give all a hug.
I'm too professional. Yeah, let's give...
Please be careful. There's a step there. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Is everybody doing good? Are you enjoying yourself? This was a lot. I have to... Yeah, you're ready. Oh, we're getting a photo. Hold on.
You wanted me to stay.
All right, so I am so excited to be sitting here with two of my favorite women. I'm so grateful. I met Amy way back in the day. I literally cold messaged you on Instagram, I think. And I was like, hey, I'm starting this thing. I don't have a website, but I'm legit. I want to come and interview you. And I came to Rebel Nell years ago. You were just in this little co-working space. I interviewed you, we became friends, now we're neighbors, and then somewhere in the midst of that, you connected me with Betsy, and Betsy, I'm so grateful for you and everything. The congregation, we chose this place for a reason. First of all, I emailed Betsy and I was like, hey, crazy idea. Can One Girl Revolution take over the congregation for Women's History Month for March 1st? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. But the congregation has always been such an inspiration to me, but also it's always been a place where you've been so supportive of the community and people that bring these dreams or ideas to you. And we actually showed our documentary, The Girl Inside, here. It was like a couple of months after you guys opened up. It was September of 2020. And I feel like we blinked, and here we are, your 5-year anniversary. So I would love each of you, maybe I'll start with you, Betsy. I'd love for you to just share a little bit about the congregation, this space that we're sitting and standing in, and what does the 5-year anniversary mean to you? I mean, it's incredible.
That's a loaded question. So the congregation, honestly, I say this all the time. We kind of opened our doors thinking that we were just opening a nice, quiet community space, and she has turned into a beast, and in a very good way, very positive way. Obviously, the cafe operation is the main part of our entire business, being able to serve our community and bring people together over coffee and cocktails, but being able to host different groups and events in the space and give our community members a space to kind of share their vision, their voice, has been such an amazing experience. And being able to meet all of these different people within our community around Detroit, it's just been very eye-opening and really exciting.
Also, I think back to when you opened. I always remember when you guys opened, and like, days later, the world shut down with COVID. And that to me still is such an inspiration that it's like the innovation, like how you guys were like, all right, let's figure out like how can we do coffees to go, doing the fire pits. Like I know that was never originally a plan for you guys, but I remember coming here on a Sunday and seeing all these families like out roasting marshmallows and hanging, like the innovation that the congregation has done over the past 5 years. It's incredible because so many other coffee shops, restaurants obviously struggled through COVID. And this is such a celebration to me of 5 years, but also that you literally were like crawling over hot coals to get the congregation to be a thing.
Yeah. So March 5th is our 5-year official anniversary. So come and see us. But yeah, we opened our doors less than 2 weeks later is when the world kind of shut down. But I think looking at the positive of everything, I think COVID honestly was a catalyst for us to just be innovative and continue to bring a light of events and ways that we could bring people together. We're very blessed to have this outdoor space that we have now activated all summer long. So we do tons of events outside. Also activated our lower level space, which if you go down to the marketplace, you'll be able to see we do tons of stuff down there too. But honestly, I can't believe that it's already been 5 years. It feels like yesterday and an eternity ago, all at the same time.
And you have a pizza restaurant. Can we talk about that? Or is it, I don't know, no. The rectory.
No.
A random building.
Yeah. Opening a business is no small feat, which most of you probably know. So next door, when you leave, take a peek immediately next door to the building. There's an old historic home that we are currently under renovation, turning it into a pizza restaurant. So just adding another component of food to our community since we kind of don't have anything around here. And hopefully we'll have that open by springtime. If we're not open by June, then we'll have a serious problem. But we hope in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Amazing. Amy, I want to have you talk a little bit about, you do so many different things. I feel like you're running a million miles a minute. You have an incredible story and you care so deeply about the city of Detroit. I know you both do. And you're such an inspiration to me about all that you do for the community and all that you do for our city and even fighting to open up businesses like this. Like, all right, how do we figure this out? It's such an important thing for us to highlight and talk about. But Amy, I would love for you to share a little bit about Rebel Nell and tea. Rebel Nell has a table downstairs. So again, everybody, if you haven't been down to the marketplace, definitely go down and check it out. Support these incredible businesses and organizations. But can you talk a little bit about Rebel Nell and tea?
Sure, happy to. So Rebel Nell is a social enterprise in Detroit. We provide employment for women who are transitioning out of shelters, and we make unique, one-of-a-kind gifts out of repurposed material, such as fallen graffiti or iconic locations like the Joe Louis Arena, the Belle Isle Conservatory, you name it. That's kind of, we preserve history as well as create jobs and workforce development for women with barriers. I'm proud of the fact that we've just hired our 47th woman out of the shelter. Thank you. And not a single one of the women that we've employed has gone back into shelter living, and that I think is the bigger milestone. But yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of the work that I get to do in this community. It wasn't what I set out to do. I was pursuing a job in sports, and now I, have the privilege to run Rebel Nell. I'm grateful to be a part of the congregation, and I just wanted to point out when Betsy was telling that story, I think that yes, we did open on that day, March 5th of 2020, but people don't remember that it took us 4.5 years to get open. So the persistence of every single woman that's up here is something that I do want to acknowledge. Mm-hmm. This is not easy work, and you have to get up every day and believe in yourself even on the days when people don't believe in you. And that's what this revolution is about. It's the belief that you have in yourself and what you're standing for that gets you up every day.
The heart of One Girl Revolution. I know I keep saying that, but I feel like it's been 6 years. There are so many different hearts, but really how the idea for One Girl sparked was from Detroit's motto. And I was reading this book and stumbled upon the two phrases in Latin, which I had never paid attention to. There's always hope and it will rise from the ashes. And like thinking about the resilience and persistence, right? That all of us, it's like, I have this idea, I have this dream, and just putting one foot in front of the other. You don't have to have everything figured out. I think that's also an important thing that we talk about. It's like, if you have an idea and you have a dream, fight for that dream and keep doing it. And both of you are such examples of that. And so thank you so much for allowing us to host this historic event here at the congregation. And I hope that everybody, I know there are some first timers here, so I hope that they keep coming and collaborate with you in different ways. I know that you have the event space downstairs, and you guys are so approachable too, where it's like, hey, I have this, I want to do a baby shower, or I want to do a small wedding. You probably could do downstairs. I know you've done so many different things. And so I'm so grateful to the congregation, to all the staff back there. You guys are amazing. And yeah, shout out to everybody who's been a part of this. But yeah, we have one more group of women, so I'm gonna let Amy and Betsy go and keep celebrating. But thank you so much. And I'll bring DJ Min up here. We got it. We got time for a little song. I won't make everybody dance this time. But I just want to thank you. I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't gotten your raffle tickets, we have one more panel of women that you'll get to hear from. If you haven't gotten your raffle tickets and you want them, we have Moira's right here. And she's amazing. She also, with Maria, wherever Maria is, created this incredible board out in the hallway that you put your tickets in different boxes. But please get your raffle tickets. 100% of everything that we received tonight goes back to support this cause. It goes back to support One Girl Revolution. We have swag downstairs. Check out the marketplace. We were very intentional about how we curated this event. And I had this vision for like, what if you could bring all these women and girls together into one place, which had never happened in the One Girl Revolution orbit. But I wanted to do that, and also like including all of the One Girls who are makers downstairs. So please support all of these women and their initiatives. If you've loved the power of her and this episode of the One Girl Revolution podcast, I'd love to invite you to become a monthly donor and help us continue uplifting the voices and stories of world-changing women and girls. Every single dollar goes directly back into our work, helping us tell more stories, amplify more voices, and inspire change. Join the movement and be a part of something bigger. Because when we share stories, we change the world. Become a monthly donor today at onegirlrevolution.com/donate and help us keep the revolution going. I'm going to actually call up the last panel of women. So if you're in group number 4, we've fit a lot of stories in this program, and I didn't know how we were going to do it, but I feel like we've done it. Do you guys feel like we've done it? This is incredible. So I'm going to invite anybody who has not gone yet. So we got Mickey Geiswhite, Jenny Fedorovich. I don't know if you're here. I wasn't sure if I saw you. Megan with Glimmer in the Dark. Terry with Enchanted Makeovers. Jerry Hunley. I don't know if we're all going to fit on these couches, but we can try. Who else? Jerry. Oh, all right. We're going to move back. Good. All right. Well, I can't believe that this actually happened. When I was like dreaming about this thing, I was like, it's a lot of logistics. Andrew and his team have been incredible. Producer Rachel, shout out to you. Val, wherever she is. Oh, yeah, there she is. We have such incredible people that have stepped forward to support this incredible night. So thank you to all of you, the congregation, Born and Raised Detroit, Scene Magazine and Amy Gill, Simplified Printing. We just had Mansfield Insurance Group. Mansfield Insurance Group is so incredible, and I want to just give a shout out to Denise. I know she's a huge supporter of so many of the women who are here tonight too, but the second that I announced this event, she was like, I'm in. What do you need? Let me help. So I think it's been so incredible that all of these people have stepped forward to help. But I'm so excited to have all of you ladies here, and I'm so grateful to you making the time. I know that all of you are so busy and you have so much going on with your families, with life, and we're all like running from one thing to another. So I'm so grateful to have each of you here. I'm so honored to know you and have become friends with you. It's like I had you on the podcast and now it's like, hey, like we can reach out to each other. It's just amazing. So Mickey, I'm going to start with you. If you can just share your name and talk about your organization. And actually, let's leave on a really positive note as well. I'm going to have you, if you could leave women and girls around the world with a message, what would it be? That'll be the trifecta: name, organization, and your message.
Okay, so my name is Mickey Geiswhite, and I'm the founder and CTO, that's Chief Toy Officer, of the Bottomless Toy Chest. And we are a nonprofit organization that delivers emotionally empowering toy experiences to children who are going through cancer, blood disorder treatment, and other critical illnesses. And I was inspired to start the program through a personal story. When my son was 12 years old, he went from being a completely healthy 12-year-old to pretty much overnight, we found out that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And you can imagine, our entire life was turned upside down. And, we used to think about, would he pass an algebra test? But now we were worried, would he pass like a lung function test, any test? Would he make it? And so he spent the better part of 8 months in the hospital receiving treatment. And, when you're a parent, you want to fix things, right? But cancer was something that I could not fix. The one thing I felt that I could do while he was going through treatment is make sure that he had plenty of activities and toys. And, really to try to focus on all the stuff that he could do rather than pretty much everything that he could not do. And I really saw that it made a difference for Jack when he was going through treatment. And I promised myself that if we ever got to the end of treatment, that I wanted to start a program that could empower children going through cancer treatment, blood disorder treatment, and other critical illnesses with a program in the same way that toys have empowered Jack. And so I'm going to jump to the happy ending of this story, and that is that Jack did survive his cancer, and he's grown up now. Thank you. And you would never know he had cancer a day in his life. And what started as a pilot program at one hospital has grown and grown and grown. And 17 years later, our program runs in 30 hospitals in 15 states. And this year, we will deliver over 35,000 toy experiences to kiddos who are facing critical illness and sometimes hospice care. So one thing that I'd like to tell you about our program, I know there are many other great stories up here, but every single toy that we deliver, and I did bring a professional Barbie here. She is a, she is a career girl Barbie. So every single toy that we deliver at the Bottomless Toy Chest is gift wrapped in cellophane and tied with a ribbon and has a sticker on it that says, "From your friends at the Bottomless Toy Chest." And we do that, A, to keep the items clean, because most of the kiddos we see can't even use the hospital playrooms. And then B, it gives kids a choice in an environment where pretty much all of their choices are made for them. And then lastly, who doesn't like opening presents? We get to be the fun people in the hospital. And so, we don't wrap 35,000 toys by ourselves. We're a tiny, tiny little staff. There are 4 of us. And then we really count on our community to support us and help us. So we're always looking for volunteers. And I just appreciate the time to be able to share. And Kate, you are amazing. Thank you so much. And, if I had one message for girls and women, it's that, when we lift people up, we lift ourselves up. And I can't think of anything that is more rewarding and empowering than that. Thank you so, so much.
Now, I didn't plan this, but I feel like the two of you need to be like working you're pretty much sisters.
We do. I've known Mickey, when you said 17 years, that aged both of us because we have worked together for many of those 17 years. Yeehaw, I should say. My name is Molly, or howdy, yeehaw. My name is Molly Reeser, and I am the founder of Camp Casey. We are a horseback riding program for children with cancer, sickle cell disease, and other life-threatening illnesses. And this summer will be our 21st season. So for 21 years, I'm also aging myself there, we have been providing free horseback riding programs to children in Michigan. We do this through a variety of ways. Our most unique program that I think is probably highlighted the most through podcasts, and we were on the Today Show and is talked about quite a bit, is Horsey House Calls. And the Horsey House Call program actually knocks on a door and with a horse on the doorstep. So we are like the Publishers Clearinghouse, but with a horse instead of a big check. I am ancient now, right? They're like, who is that? It's a very fun surprise for the kids. They have no idea that we're coming. Of course, we arrange everything with the parents, so it's not a total surprise for the adults, but they answer the door, there is a horse on their doorstep, and we stay for the afternoon to provide a day of camp. We're coming at a time when these children are unable to leave home to go to summer camp, like healthy children can do. So we bring camp to them. We also provide other programs such as our Cowboy Campout program that actually scholarships families to go on all expense paid horseback riding vacations. We are offering this service during a time when they are not in a position to plan or pay for a desperately needed time away. We also provide one-day events for kids to come on to our partner barn over in Rouge Park at the Buffalo Soldiers stables that we've partnered with, and we most recently have launched a new program called Horses in the Hallway that travels to the elementary schools of the campers that we serve to provide a social emotional program that is helping to eradicate the stigmas that can oftentimes accompany illness. We are teaming up with a social worker who gives an age-appropriate presentation about cancer, how it's not contagious, why that child has lost all of her hair, how to walk with their friend through this hardship. And after that really lovely presentation that helps to provide empathy to these children and their peers, and even the administration and the teachers who oftentimes find it to be an uncomfortable subject to approach, they are then surprised with a horse. It's in the playground waiting for them to play and just enjoy the fun of having a horse where you would never expect a horse to be. So that's Camp Casey. I'm very proud to be a part of this lovely organization. We are an all-women run organization because women rule the world, so why not have? And I suppose my advice is just that nobody knows like what the hell we're doing, so just fake it till you make it and surround yourself with a lot of really passionate people. Build a team made up of folks who know a lot more than you do, and just stay really confident and disciplined, but just keep your eye on the prize and keep going.
Hello, my name is Megan, and I am the founder of Glimmer in the Dark. And what Glimmer in the Dark does is just provide love and support to new widows and widowers through gifting them a little piece of jewelry on Valentine's Day, just to let them know they're loved and not alone, and to hopefully build a community. This is in its infancy, so it just started this year. Unlike all of you fabulous women who have had these organizations for so long, we're still getting started, so I'm honored to be here and to be in your presence. And the precipice of this started because I myself am a widow, and I realized in the first couple years after losing my husband the milestones are hard. So having a little reminder sent to you through the mail or, a little gift letting someone know that you're not alone means a lot. So I have partnered with Gigi's House, and Gigi's House is a wonderful grief group. And I've also partnered with Rebel Nell, my sister, and that's the jewelry that I provide. So I'm hoping to grow more throughout the years, but this is just a big start. I think what I would say to other girls, just as, I've never saw myself in this position for many reasons, a widow or standing up on a stage talking to beautiful ladies. I'm quiet and I like to be in the background. But I would say if you can't do great things, find one small thing to do great. And I saw that quote and I was like, gosh, that is so beautiful, because sometimes you feel like you need to conquer the world, or you need to do great things to be an inspiration to others. But I think if you can just find one small little thing to do and do it great, that's enough. So.
Hello, my name is Julie, or Jules, and I'm a part of something called Gigi's House, as Megan said. And Gigi's House stands for Got Grief House. We wanted to be pretty literal of what Gigi's House is, but my joke is nobody wants to go to Got Grief House. Everybody wants to go to Gigi's House. Everybody knows a Gigi that is a fun lady or a loving person, an aunt or a grandma or whatever. So Gigi's House has been in existence. This will be our 5th year. So we're kind of a baby a little bit as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that clap. Yeah, 5 years. It was crazy. I had somebody come to a grief group who said, I haven't been here for 4 years. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, you haven't, and oh my God, we've been around. So a big part of Gigi's House, too, I want to say before how it got started, is the congregation. Give it up. Give it up. So Gigi's House, one of the biggest ways that we're known is that we have a drop-in grief group. And I'm a licensed professional counselor. I am a child griever. My brother died very, very suddenly when I was young, and suddenly and traumatically, with me and my mom in the home. And I didn't know about grief resources for kids. We knew about some grief resources for adults, but we know that certain folks, certain cultures, I'm Arab American, and going to counseling, going to a grief group was really out of the scope, right, of what felt comfortable. And I remember she told me, I don't remember, because when you're young and you're going through trauma, and sometimes when you're older too, sometimes your mind protects you and you stuff memories down, you don't really remember. But she said, that's the only thing I've ever walked out of and never paid, was like a family grief group session. Because apparently this woman did not get it. And or my mom was too sensitive or not able to be in that space, and that's okay, right? Not everybody has to go to grief counseling or a grief group, but the way that Gigi's House is set up, it's in the community room downstairs, right here, and it's a drop-in group. I always say, come late, leave early. You're never late for healing with us. We are so honored and we are so happy that you showed up for yourself and your grief, right? So it's a drop-in grief group. It's going to restart in April. We had a little bit of a break, but we got a small little grant to keep it going. But this is the 5th year that we've been doing it, and it's an amazing experience. People will just come down from the congregation and wander down, and we keep the door cracked open. They walk in, and people are crying. Sometimes. I'm like, come on in. It's a grief group. Come on. They're like, what? But, I try to keep it really light. You got to keep it light with the heavy, and also create that space where people can feel comfortable to just listen, know they're not alone, right? Know that they can be in the suck. It sucks, just like Kate, suicide sucks. Suck at suicide. People always ask me, like, as a therapist and as somebody who's been through grief, what do I say? I'm like, just be in the suck with them. Be like, I don't know what this feels like, but I'm here, right? Your presence
is a gift to that person who's going through grief. So Gigi's house, deals with all sorts of grief. Our grief group is open. So we have folks that have lost pets, folks that have been going through divorce or relationship loss. We leave it really, really wide open for people to share anything that they're going through or just listen. I try to set it up with aromatherapy, some art therapy, so you can get up and take care of yourself however you want and check it out. So it's been a really good experience. I have myself a private practice as well. It's called Weather Vane Counseling and Consulting, because everybody needs a little direction sometimes, am I right? Weather Vane, you get it? I like to be funny. Gotta keep it light. But we are running some closed grief groups. So the drop-in is an open grief group where anybody can come in at any time. Closed grief groups is where you have a set group of people, and I'm doing a lot of hands-on stuff where it's very challenge by choice. You get to come in and you get to be in it as much as you want to be in a loving environment with awesome people. So that's kind of the story, what's happening, and it's young. And if you go to our website, gotgriefhouse.org, you'll see we offer a lot of things because we've done a lot of things. We've tried to be really responsive to the community of Detroit specifically. We've been called to work with people outside of Detroit in schools, people's funerals, workplaces that lose somebody. We've come in and done grief education as well as grief groups. So hit us up. We're in a reformation stage right now, but we'll definitely serve you and work with you in any way possible, myself in the private practice or the nonprofit. And something I want to share from a woman that's very inspirational to me is Bell Hooks. She is a feminist and author, and one of her quotes that I really love is, "Healing is an act of communion." Rarely, if ever, she says, is healing done in isolation. What is your communion? What is your church? Church can be your church, spirituality, God, however you worship or do anything, but also how do you take care of yourself, which might involve going to get a massage. That's still communion, baby. That's still somebody doing some work with you and for you. Going to nature, that's communion if you're spiritual enough to know that the plants and the earth is with you in times. Coming to a grief group, so healing is an act of communion, and please, as women, right, or whoever, seek out that community where you can find it and give it a whirl.
Jerry, you're up.
So, as you know, Kate, I hate speaking in public.
I was like, I don't think anybody here knows whatever you're about to say, but yeah, I do. So, but that's why you're here, and that's why you're on the podcast.
Exactly. So, my name is Jerry. I'm the CEO and founder of Single Family Living. I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about my backstory and why I founded Single Family Living. If you want to know a little bit more in depth, please go to the podcast and listen to the full story. But I was a homeless college dropout. And on top of that, I was living in my car and I was pregnant. I don't want to get emotional, but
You got a counselor next to you.
Thank you.
I'm with you. Right here.
But something happened where it was a traumatic experience, where I had to also, I was living in my car. And I was living in my car in the city of Detroit. It was a winter storm. And one of my best friends also owned a car, and she was pregnant as well. She died. I found out. And I walked to the payphone. Yes, I'm old. There was a payphone, and I called my parents and told them that I was ready to come home. The reason why I'm saying this, that was several years ago, because something tragic, similar to my experience, happened to another single parent. not too long ago when I thought that that would never happen. With everything and with everything that we have in 2025, the people, the women that we have, the resources that we have now should never have happened. And as a community, we let that woman down, her and her family. Needless to say, I had a village who would be able to assist me and help me. And that's what made me start Single Family Living, that helped single parents and youth with affordable housing, literacy, guidance in mental health, awareness. I partner with other organizations that will provide mental health services. We go into the schools and we partnership throughout the state of Michigan. We've been around for 13 years. Not everybody knows who we are. I appreciate Kate so much for allowing me and the other women the space and the courage and the confidence to do this in front of so many loving and caring people that are still here with us. But I don't only that. I want to say that I want to know how many people in this room know a single parent. Raise your hand. I want to know how many people in this room have called a single parent and say, I love you. If anything, tonight, I just want to leave this letting you guys know that, let me tell you something, being a single parent is not easy. We don't ask for a handout, we ask for a hand up. We ask for a phone call. Hey, how's your mental health doing? How are you doing? How are your kids doing? Do you need anything? Do you want me to come by and see how you're doing? We provide the village where the single parents and the youth don't have. We provide the resources, and also we provide a village. Not only does Single Family provide the services, but we partner with other organizations to do that throughout the state of Michigan. We also provide information on how to get help. Information on how to get help. I just want to let you guys know that having the space to say that you need help is so hard. It's so hard. It's not easy. And a lot of the people that we help do not ask for help. We have families, we have the youth that we go into the schools and we work with the social workers. And we tutor and mentor several schools, in several different schools, Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. Every day, I'm not lying, Monday through Friday, we there. Right now, we are taking over Mount Clemens, and we are Mount Clemens Library, Mount Clemens High School, we in Mount Clemens Community Center, and we're taking over that area because they are in need. And I just want to leave one thing that, for young ladies, walk in faith, know your purpose. Because let me tell you, I never thought that I would be up here telling my story, still tirelessly focusing on and working through, as a single parent still, but hey, that's a different story. Having and loving 2 wonderful children and continue on helping 80,000 kids in the state of Michigan. Thank you.
Where do I begin? My name is Terry Grail. I'm the founder and CEO of Enchanted Makeovers. You're a warrior. I'm going to start first how it began. In 2006, I was asked to volunteer and paint a wall at a shelter for women and children. I went to the shelter in January of '07, and they gave me a tour of the whole entire shelter. The last stop was the women's dorm, where 30 women would sleep for 1 year with their children. I took before pictures, and I went home. I remember driving home saying, God, why did you bring this to me? I have children. I just had started a business a couple years before that. And at that time, you would download the pictures. So a week had went by, and I'm like, I got to look at those pictures. And there on that stained mattress, it was used prison beds that the women were using. The walls were held together with duct tape. I saw polka dots on the pillow. I've always loved polka dots since I was a child. And when I saw the polka dots, I heard, trust me. And I raised my hand up and I said, I'll do it. I had no idea how I would get the volunteers or the money. I went back to the shelter, and they brought the women from the aftercare, it was the transitional housing, to the chapel. So there was 50 women in the chapel. And I just started sharing, this is what I hope that I can bring to you. And in that moment, I started doing the ugly cry. I just broke down, and the women began to cry with me. And in that moment, as I was crying, the women, I looked up, and they were saying to me, it's going to be okay. And what it's like it happened yesterday, all I saw was girls. I was that girl standing there. And it was not about anyone trying to save anyone. It was about us walking beside each other. So the dorm was transformed. It was all new bunk beds, murals, quilts, anything we could do that was handmade, because I believe handmade is healing. When that dorm was done, I went back to my business. I said, God, I did what you wanted me to do. I'm done. Well, my last client, it's so funny how God works, is because my client was complaining because her house was too small. She only had 7,000 square feet, and she needed 10,000. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, I think God's trying to tell me something. So I went to my mother's house, and I said, I'm caught in these two worlds. It's because I have my business and then the nonprofit world. And I remember her looking at me and saying, we're not going to talk about this anymore. God knows this is where you need to be. So I went home, sat on my bed, did the ugly cry again, and I made a deal with God. And yes, you can make deals. And I said, I just keep a roof over my family's head and food in the fridge. And it was just this peaceful voice, and it said, and glorify me. And just loving people back to life. So the organization, we're celebrating 17 years this year. Amazing. So I did obviously close my business. I started the nonprofit. And what we do is we provide healing spaces for women and children in shelters that are escaping human trafficking and domestic violence. And that is through the community. We want people to serve with their talent. So if you quilt, if you do murals, if you embroider, we want the best. We want that beauty. You got to remember, this is the first step for the women. So this is the first stepping stone. They don't go to transitional right off the bat. So we want them to be successful, get through the program. And it has grown organically. From there, I saw this parent on the news sharing with her son, "Give it up, no one's gonna come in here and save us." I instantly started crying, but I always say, what are tears if there's no action? So I'm like, well, he's his own superhero. He has everything within him. So I started Capes for Kids. And it's people from around the globe that can make capes. Children can make them, and adults. And I want children to know that you have everything within you to be your own superhero. From there, it was my mother sharing with me one day how a sewing machine saved her life. My mother battles with depression. She still does. And in that moment when she said a sewing machine saved my life, I said, well, we need to have sewing rooms in shelters. That the women can not only have, it's therapeutic, they can learn that skill, but they can provide for their family. From there, it was a doll adoption, because we battled with homelessness, and my doll was so comforting to me. When I was taking care of my doll, I was taking care of myself. From there, it was the pillowcase program, and it's called the traveling pillowcase, and it's not the traveling size. Even through us moving here and there 12 times in that trauma, I remember going to bed at night, and I'm like, I could escape in my mind. I could travel any place I could go. So that's why it's called the traveling pillowcase. I want children to know that their mind is so powerful. Fast forward with those programs, I'm like, we started growing, and I'm like, well, I was working out of my house. And I would have people go to Tim Hortons because I had my children were little. I had to protect them. And I had this woman come to me, and she said, I have a blanket to donate. So we met at Tim Hortons, and I never did get that blanket. She said, well, you know, there's a house on Northline in Taylor, and the city wants nonprofits to run out of it. It's abandoned. It's been abandoned for 7 years. I'm like, well, I don't want a room. I want the whole space. So she had a meeting set up with the mayor, and he said, well, I'll think about this. A week later, we met at the house. It's a 1926 arts and crafts home. It was totally been, the house is a she. She had been abandoned and forgotten. And we did get the house. And it's our national headquarters. We have grown nationally. And before we started the renovation on the house, we had Selected of God come, the choir. And I said, I want you to bless the home, because I want every person that walks through here to know that they matter. Because we've heard so many people that volunteer that they're battling with domestic violence, or they have just escaped human trafficking. We can't forget those voices either. So we were just blessed on February 3rd. Kelly Clarkston had me on her show. That was a huge blessing. Yes, huge blessing. It was funny because the producer reached out, and she said, I've been following you for a year. I said, so you've been stalking us. So that's been a huge blessing. And I just came out with my first children's book. Yeah. And it's about the doll adoption and the importance of it. The second one will be out in March this month, and it's about the Capes for Kids. And it's a little bluebird who forgot it could fly. So it's just a reminder to children that you have everything within you. And in the back of the book is about taking action. We hope you will make a cape. We hope you will make a doll. This I haven't announced, but announced tonight. Polly, we've been working with Polyfill. They've been one of our big supporters for our Sacred Sewing Room. All the stuffing you see in Hobby Lobby. They have partnered with us, and the back of the bag will be about the doll adoption. So it's all about that awareness, and it will be on all the Hobby Lobby stores nationwide. Cool. So that's been a huge, I give God all the glory. The one piece of advice that I would give to women and girls, you are not your circumstance. That's not your identity. I always say that, it might start off as a victim, then it's a survivor, but when are you going to be a warrior?
Yes.
So
you taught me that, warrior. All of us are warriors, and I'm so grateful to this panel for each of you. I'm so honored to call you friends through this community, and I know many of you have worked together and are working with other One Girl Revolutions, and that's also the power when women stand together, not standing. I do believe that every woman and girl is a One Girl Revolution, that we can be, but also the power when we stand together. So let's give another round of applause for this incredible panel. I'll take that from you, Terry. And we have a very important thing to end on. I'm going to let you ladies go take your seat because we're going to do the raffle. So if you have your raffle tickets, I'm going to bring DJ Mint up here. We'll put some tunes on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe like line them up there. Yeah. While we're getting the raffle set up, I wanted to take a moment to honor someone very special with the One Girl Revolution community and an incredible sponsor, Jennifer Jackson of the Dre Project. She is doing incredible work where she is helping feed those in need, and she's not able to be here with us tonight, but the second that I decided to do this event, she jumped on board and was like, I will do anything. So she sponsored multiple of the baskets. She sponsored this event financially. Again, I want to give a shout out to Born and Raised Detroit. I want to give a shout out to Scene Magazine and Amy Gill, Simplified Printing, Mansfield Insurance Group, all of these incredible people. And then, of course, all of the different incredible gifts that you saw. We have such incredible partners for this event, and this is the first time that we've ever done an event like this. Usually in the past, I've always just partnered with people, and One Girl Revolution has been a part of other people's events, but I want to introduce also, you guys stay up here. So this is Kellen and Patrick. They are the only boys who have ever been on the One Girl Revolution podcast, so let's give them a round of applause. And they're my cousins. Their mom was on one of the first guests. I think it was like episode 7. And they were really... 10. Oh, 20. Yeah.
It was something like 10. It was 7, 8.
Oh, 10. Oh, episode 10. Yeah. So you guys will have to check that out. But their mom is incredible. She couldn't be here with us tonight, but they have been amazing, helping with everything. So let's give a round of applause to Patrick and Kellen. And I'm going to keep you guys up here if you're okay with it to help me with the raffle. Is that cool? We're actually I'm going to close just because we're filming. So I'm going to close this event. And I just want to give a shout out again to the congregation, Jennifer Jackson and the Dre Project, Scene Magazine, Simplified Printing, Born and Raised Detroit, Mansfield Insurance Group. I'm so grateful for all of you who stepped forward. Each and every one of our sponsors, I mentioned them earlier, all the people who donated these incredible gifts. Thank you so much for supporting this incredible event. And thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of the revolution. It's Women's History Month. We believe that women are making history every single day. So support your sisters, stand with the women and girls who are making a difference in the world, and do whatever you can with your time, talent, and treasure to make a difference in the world. We have the power to change the world through our lives every single day. So thank you so much for coming. And now we're going to do the raffle. For more from One Girl Revolution, to listen to all of our podcast episodes, watch our Emmy-nominated documentary series, follow us on social media, donate to our nonprofit organization, and more, please visit onegirlrevolution.com. That's the number onegirlrevolution.com.